What's up, everybody? It's your host, Buck Hollywood LeDuc, and I'm going to be talking about Godzilla versus Kong. Holy shit, what the fuck?
Hello?
What the fuck is going on?
Hello there, Buck. It's me, Podcast Bot 8000.
Podcast Bot 8000, how'd you get back into the country?
I took a lot of liberties, dude. Took a lot of liberties with my morality.
Last time I
Did
heard,
some stuff.
you went down to Los Angeles with CHADLEY and Podcast Bot 5000, and you were on the hunt for Bryan Singer.
CHADLEY was hurting, dude. He was hurting us bad.
Wow, he was really hurting you.
It was no good, Buck. He was hurting us real bad.
Wow.
We were living in a hotel, and he would come home from an undisclosed thing that he did every day for 9 hours, and he would hurt us real bad.
Well, I guess that explains why CHADLEY hasn't been on the show in like a year. Almost exactly a year, actually.
Almost exactly, yeah.
But you might not know that because we had truly a full year of backlog.
Yeah,
available.
absolutely. And to be fair, truly a full year of no good films.
Well, that is true, yeah.
Because it's not like I stopped watching movies. It's just like
no, yeah,
they were all
nothing
bad.
good came out. That is true. I did cover a lot of shit last year. I don't know if you know.
Maybe.
I covered not only the local festivals like the European Fest, the International Fest, and the Underground Fest Docs Edition, but I also, for the first time ever, covered Fantasia Fest from Montreal.
I actually did know that. I actually did listen to some of that. Look, I didn't just disappear. I listened. I'm still supporting.
No, I know. I'm just saying it to the world.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff that happened. I also got to cover the Vancouver Horror Show, which clearly they had the acronym VHS. They're like, how do we make a film festival?
Because otherwise it would have been Vancouver Horror Fest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went with show for that specific purpose.
Yeah, which
God bless them.
Doesn't make sense, but all
God
good.
bless them.
All good.
Good.
And of course, I did 31 Days of Horror. That was literally the hardest thing I've ever done. Making 31 videos in 31 days. I shouldn't have done that.
You know what? That sounds like it was your mistake.
However, we are now back, and we are talking a wonderful little film called Godzilla versus Kong. This is like the first blockbuster of the year.
Yeah, and maybe the last.
Maybe the last.
Maybe the last, because all these other blockbusters aren't gonna come out.
Now, here in Canada, theaters I don't believe are open, are they?
Not in Alberta. I think Ontario, no.
No.
Manitoba for sure, no. I work across the street from a movie theater, and I think about just strolling over all the time. But there's
I wonder,
no options.
They should just let us rent those fuckers out. Why
not?
Pre-pandemic, it was $89 an hour to rent that shit.
Yeah,
let's crank it down to 50 and let's make some money.
Yeah, because if they were $50 an hour, and then you and I could just go watch Godzilla versus Kong in a theater.
2-hour film,
It's a 2-hour film. We would rent it 4K and then just set up a laptop. I think it would be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I watched this, at home.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I think the thing that we've talked about this before, but the home viewing really exposes popcorn flicks.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I think about this movie, and I don't want to get too deep into it before we get deep into it, but I think about this movie, and I think that I would have liked it a lot more had I seen it in a theater.
I think it would have been an absolute banger in a theater.
It would have been fun.
The video game Hong Kong fight downtown,
That it would have been spectacular in a theater. But what we got instead. Now, thank goodness, we both have unnecessarily large televisions.
Very large TVs, yes.
Very big TVs that we can sort of hinge on that. But the experience isn't the same. It just isn't the same watching it in theaters as it is watching it at home. And this movie, because I had to watch it at home, I'm going to go ahead and say this movie fucking sucks, dude. This movie is no good.
Yeah, it's quite bad. And I did watch the previous movies this week.
Yeah, so, you know what? Actually, I rewatched King of Monsters a couple of weeks ago.
And King of Monsters is still good.
Slaps.
And that's good on a small screen.
Yeah.
So it's I think that maybe the issue is that it's directed by Adam Winger, and he made it into a Fortnite dancing Kong,
Yeah, that is the thing is they had Michael Dougherty. I know they had him. I know that they had him because he directed King of Monsters, and he wrote some of the screenplay for Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
So just let him make it. Just let him make it.
But like Adam Winger's, he's not a draw.
Yeah, exactly. Like I guess what Death Note was kind of successful, but it was free.
Was it though? Like
I think people saw it, but it was free.
Anything on Netflix doesn't to me isn't
count as successful. Yeah,
because they just lie all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. They're just like, this is #1 in Canada, and it's like, why is my top 10 in Canada different from yours?
Yeah,
and that happens all the time, actually. But like, I think people saw Death Note, but I don't think anyone.
Well, what was his other big movie was the Blair Witch remake.
Yeah, which was just I think it was just called Blair Witch.
That movie is actually like pretty scary. Not that good of a movie.
Yeah, not for me. But I also hate all the Blair Witch movies, so I don't know. That might just be.
I like the first one. All right.
Oh, really? Oh,
it's not bad. It's not good, but like there's something about it that makes me nervous.
It's like. Have you
ever seen the second though?
Nah, I would know. I've heard it's worse.
Book of Shadows.
I've heard it's worse, which is crazy.
God, I reviewed that during the 31 Days of Horror, and that is one of the worst things I've ever fucking seen.
So Adam Wingard, Death Note. What was the other one we said? Blair Witch. And now, for some reason, they were like, Death Note and Blair Witch. You know what we got to give this guy, right?
This guy ain't a drawl, though.
Yeah. Let's give him our biggest fucking franchise. They fucking Trevero'd this shit. They just handed it to some dude who didn't know what he was doing and let him wreck it. And so, here's the thing: is that this movie is the problem with this movie isn't that it's necessarily bad, but that it's just really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like every moment of this movie is like painfully stupid, and I didn't feel that way about King of Monsters, even though I knew that it was.
Right, and I think the issue with this one is there's fucking 50 characters and none of them do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because let's talk about the cast here, because it should be great.
Yeah.
But Alexander Skarsgård's in this movie.
Where's your brother, though? Let's get your brother in here.
Let's get the good one in here. But like Alexander Skarsgård is in here, and tell me right now, as someone who watched this movie in the past week, I also have watched it in the past week. What did Alexander Skarsgård's character do? What was his purpose? Okay, then you got Rebecca Hall, and now her character I almost kind of get because she's the Kong Whisperer.
Sure. That's like a character that should be in the movie.
It's a character that should be in the movie, but should be in the movie more, I think. And that's the problem with this movie, is that they did want to get like characters from every corner of this universe into here. They wanted Kong supporters and they wanted Godzilla supporters. Mm-hmm.
But with that, like, I think there is the issue that in all of these movies, they overturn the cast every time. Mm-hmm. So there's no one really to latch on to throughout this series. And then you've got Millie Bobby Brown coming back, who also is a terrible actor and does nothing in this.
She does nothing. So she runs around with that Deadpool Hunt for the Wilder People kid.
You know why Millie Bobby Brown was good in Stranger Things?
Because she was 15 and she was
not talking too much.
Yeah.
Not talking too much.
And you know what? Like she's just no good in this movie. And even like the kid from Deadpool, I forget his name. But I like
okay. First of all, why is this kid in everything and then also do nothing?
Yeah, he does nothing in this movie. That might be the worst offender of all. Like that is a character that I think literally doesn't do a single thing in this movie.
I agree.
And then Millie Bobby Brown and the kid from Deadpool are running around with this cool black guy.
The podcaster guy.
Their podcast conspiracy.
But then, here's the thing about the podcaster guy is then he does like throw in some real like fucked up conspiracy theories, like the fluoride shit and like stuff that I can't agree with. You know?
Yeah. It's like clearly too crazy. Or maybe we're not crazy enough. I don't know. It could be right, but probably isn't.
That's a good point, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, and then guess what that character does?
What?
Also nothing.
Oh, nothing, right.
Also fucking nothing. And the thing is like, okay, think about King of Monsters. Mm-hmm. That movie also had that problem, but there is a big difference between the two movies, and here's what it is that that first one, the King of Monsters that Michael Dougherty made, he knew it had that problem. So he made sure that every 10 breaths that the audience took, we got to see monsters beating the fuck out of each other.
Right. I think an issue that this one has that the King of Monsters doesn't have is that I think people complained about this, but King of Monsters takes itself extremely seriously. Kind of all of the monster movies up until this point take themselves extremely seriously. This one, I feel like Adam Wingard was trying to be James Gunn, putting like funny old music over King Kong and shit. And it just like King Kong in this movie feels like he's about to do a Fortnite dance at all times. That's like the only way I can describe this.
Yeah. And here's another thing too, is that like for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, this is like kind of spoilers, but not really. But like when you're making Godzilla versus Kong, here's the thing: you can call this movie from the first 3 minutes. You know what's going to happen. You've seen the trailer. I figured out every single thing that was going to happen to this point by point, pretty much.
Right.
When I saw the first trailer, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and so they had to protagonize and antagonize one of each of these. But we've already protagonized both.
Right.
So,
well, actually, from Godzilla 2014, which was the issue, is for some reason American blockbusters you can't have Godzilla as the bad guy. So immediately he's the hero. That's, to me, that's the third movie right there. Yet they started with that, which fine, whatever. That one isn't any good anyway.
Yeah,
so.
that one sucks. And like he's protagonized in King of the Monsters, but in a way that kind of works because you've antagonized Ghidorah, who's fucking tight as hell.
Yeah.
So then. In this, you had to protagonize and antagonize. So they antagonized Godzilla.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, but you already made me like him in the last movie. So like, how are you going to undo this fuckery? Like, this is bananas. This is insane. And then Godzilla, of course, is the protagonist. He's the hero of the film. Now, this movie is also like, I have heard that there's over 50 minutes of cut content from this movie.
Wow, that's a
lot.
lot.
And you can fucking tell because there's like one part where they're like, we gotta take King Kong, we gotta take him so he can bring us to Hollow Earth, and the girl's like, absolutely not. There's no way that's gonna happen. Cut, shot, next scene, they're on the boat. It's like, how the fuck? When did we come to this? Why are we just on the boat now? She said no, and now we're just doing it. She said no.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Like, just to get them onto the set piece of fighting Godzilla on a airship, on the boat, yeah, that's great. But like, it's such a disjointed mess that every time you think that something's like gonna happen, all of a sudden you're just back to Millie Bobby Brown in an underground bunker for some reason. You're like, what?
Dude, so many underground bunkers. They were all in underground bunkers in this movie.
Yeah, that was the set pieces.
Yeah, that was it. That they had one underground bunker, so they shot it from different angles to make it look like it was a different place.
Right.
And then they had basically a boat. Mm-hmm. They paid for the boat, and then they fucking had people. They had people in fucking CGI suits fighting over fake Tokyo.
Yeah, and that's like, speaking of Ghidorah, there is like a little Ghidorah shout out here.
Yeah.
Ghidorah is a fucking brain monster now. Skull's a computer.
I do want to specifically, like, are we getting? How long has this been out? Like 3 weeks. We can get into spoilers, right? We can just fucking spoil it. Okay, so like, this is my big problem with the movie is that like because you've already protagonized both the monsters in this movie, they have to bring it back around and make them a team, which is like, I don't care. And so they put them up against Mechagodzilla, which, by the way, that fight sucks, and here's why. Doesn't seem like they had that hard of a time winning.
Pretty anticlimactic. I'm pretty sure I wrote that down.
They just won.
But the fact that because there's even more characters in this movie, because there's like the Antonio Banderas looking guy that
I don't even remember this.
He's like the chief of Alpha, like Walter Simmons or whatever. He's the Antonio Banderas looking motherfucker. And then there's like the Japanese guy that runs the mech.
Right, that I remember. Yeah, that part. I don't know the Antonio. Like this is how forgettable this movie is.
Right.
It's also like it is an hour 50, but it feels like it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
like it feels like it was supposed to be longer, and they were like, "Fuck it, we don't want people getting bored."
Well,
but we did.
Yeah, because like there's a point where they go to Hollow Earth, and that should be much cooler than it is.
I agree, but I also don't think I give a shit about the concept.
Maybe the concept doesn't matter, even though they've been talking about it for 4 straight movies.
They've been talking about it for 4 straight movies, and then they're like, we're going to Hollow Earth, and then they got there, and I was like, oh, okay, this is just a place then. Like, how is this different from Skull Island?
It's inside the world.
Yeah, I know what it is, but why?
But also, it's like they're trying so hard to be like, you can't go through there unless you have the special ship, and then the special ship just flies through, no issues at all. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and they're like, we need. Here's the part that is so crazy to me. They're like, we need Kong to get into Hollow Earth, but the same people who said we need Kong to get into Hollow Earth had the special ship.
Right.
That like accidentally goes to Hollow Earth at one point because somebody gets in it and they're like, whoops. And then they're accidentally in Hollow Earth and it's like, what? Why did you need Kong then?
I don't know.
What was... And here's the bigger question. I know they explained it in the movie that they were going down there to harness the power to use it for Mechagodzilla. Did they do that?
I think so, yeah.
Did they do that?
Yeah, because they had like a little drone that drilled in, and they're like, no, don't let the drone drill, and then it just was like, okay, it's in there now.
But here's the question: why? Okay, I like this is so problematic to me for so many different reasons. Number one is like you have Mechagodzilla in this, and they call him Mechagodzilla,
Right.
but that ain't fucking Mechagodzilla. I've seen those movies. I know what Mechagodzilla is all about. And let me tell you, they explain it pretty fucking clearly that that's actually Mechagodora just looking like Mechagodzilla.
I guess that is true, yeah.
So it's not Mechagodzilla. And here's the part that annoys me even more. Doesn't even look like that much like Mechagodzilla. They kind of fucked him up. They smoothed him around.
Does that matter that much, though? It's like we're upgrading him. Who cares?
I guess that. But Godzilla looks like Godzilla.
To be fair, between the Mechagodzilla, the first one, and the Mechagodzilla from 2002, those don't look that similar.
Yeah, I guess. But at the very least, like, I just thought Mechagodzilla in this movie looked thin to me. He looked like not strong.
He looked like you?
Yeah, he looked bone thin, dude. He was 120 pounds wet.
You looked like this fucking guy looking real skin like a slender man.
I'm a Skeletor. I have an eating disorder, so don't worry about it.
You look very sick. You look like you've been very sick for a very long time.
I'm in remission. But yeah, it's just like the movie. I felt bad because I when I sat down to watch it, I watched it with a buddy of mine, and I was like, this is gonna be a blast. We grabbed some beers and we ordered some ice cream, and we just sat there, and every few minutes we kind of looked at each other and we were like, this sucks, right? And we were like, yeah, this really sucks.
Not
dude.
too good, no.
I saw a good video on, I think it was TikTok, of just like somebody with a T-Rex stuffy and a monkey stuffy, and he was just mashing them together. Better film.
Yeah.
Better film, in my opinion.
That's a lot of fun, that is, right there.
Absolutely. I don't know what else to say about this. It's hugely disappointing. There's not enough action sequences in this movie. And I guess that's the biggest problem, because that's what we're here for. At the end of the day, the underwater scene where they're beating the shit out of each other underwater, that's great. That's great. And that's the shit I'm here for.
I do have one question, though.
What's that?
Is that what Hong Kong looks like? With all the fucking neon lights and shit?
No, I think that was just Adam Wingard being Wingard.
Okay.
I think it was Wingard just
because I was like, oh shit, that actually seems like a dope place. But boy, do they kill a lot of innocents, eh?
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is that like Godzilla kills a lot of innocent people in this movie, and then they try to bring him back, and I'm like, you already showed me him killing kids. You
know what I don't like
back.
is when they show like kids running in the streets, and then 5 seconds later, Godzilla tumbling through a building.
Yeah, and then Godzilla's fucking got the atomic breath all over the exact street. Those kids are definitely still on.
If you don't show any kids running around in the street, then you can imagine that maybe no one got hurt. Maybe they all evacuated, but they showed it.
Yeah, they showed it. Here's the thing. You can't show Godzilla killing kids and then try and make up the protection. You can't take that back. You already killed a kid, all right?
Now, this is going to be a big spoiler, but at this point, we spoiled a lot already.
Yeah, we already said Mechagodzilla.
To defeat Mechagodzilla, the fucking New Zealand kid spilt a drink on a computer?
Yeah. And then then King Kong used his magic wizard staff, which, by the way, he has a magic wizard staff in this movie.
I was watching this movie, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Any other way would have been fine.
I was also like baffled. I was like, I think I audibly at like 11:30 p.m. in my apartment with thin walls was like, fuck off.
Yeah. Wow.
Atrocious, actually.
Sad.
This is a sin. Like, this movie is so bad. And
because especially after we saw King of Monsters and we're like, oh, these have got something going on for them. They finally got into the groove. Kong was good. King of Monsters good. Godzilla, they didn't figure it out there. They went too serious on this one. This one, they went way too goofy. Way too fucking goofy.
Way too goofy, but then didn't try and write it. They didn't I felt like nobody was really trying to write anything here.
I think that's maybe true.
Yeah, and I know Doherty was on the screenplay. I know that he knows what he's doing at least a little.
Every time I see a movie where they use like non-popular songs from the 60s, I'm like, stop trying to be James Gunn.
Yeah, this is okay. You know what though? Release that Suicide Squad directly on a VOD. I don't care about seeing that in a theater. I don't want to pay for it.
I won't be paying for that one.
I don't want to pay for it.
Until we can see Dune in a theater, I won't be paying money to a theater.
Well, and here's the thing too, is that like Warner Brothers has been pushing back all their movies so that they can release them in theaters. And the fact that they didn't push this one back was really a telltale sign to me that maybe they didn't have that much faith in it. And I see why.
Yeah, that could be true.
Want to jump over to Chadsky scale?
Absolutely.
1 star. 1 star on the Chadsky scale. No good.
I'll give it 2, but it's bad.
it's certainly.
I do enjoy the fighting though.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? So do I, and that's why it's not a halfie. Otherwise, like I think I would have given the halfie. I was like half cut but pissed.
I think it's interesting just because like over all of these movies, there's one thing that people complained about after every one, and they're like the human shit is no good. And in this one, they're like, have more human shit, more than ever.
It's like more than ever, and it's like, but is it going to mean less than ever? Because that's what it is. There's more human shit than ever, and it means nothing.
It means nothing.
Fucking what? What? Stop that. Cut that out.
All right.
I was so mad. I was half cut, dude. I was drunk. I started abusing the podcast bots. I was that upset.
Wow, you were really hurting them bad.
I was hurting them bad. They're my property. I'm allowed to.
I guess so. I haven't seen them in like a full year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you shouldn't, dude. They don't look good, dude. They're bruised up.
It sounded like he was hurt bad when he was here earlier.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's Godzilla vs. Kong. If you have the opportunity to watch it, I'd recommend not. Wait for it to be $5. $25 a bit much.
It'll be on Netflix soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, $25 for this. Like I was kind of pissed that I paid that much for it.
Yeah, the premium rental thing. That's annoying.
That's got to go, dude.
That's annoying, all right. Especially on Disney Plus. Let's.
Well, especially because they bump it up $10 extra on Disney Plus.
But it's also you pay money for Disney Plus.
Yeah, absolutely. You think I'm gonna pay $8 for my monthly subscription, but then also $5 to watch? I'm sorry, Raya. I'm sorry. If you were like $35 to watch the new Star Wars, I might be like, shit, that's tempting because I mean, Star Wars is bad, but like at the very least, you got to keep up.
Right.
But that's a new IP that you just asked me for $35 for? I don't think so.
Pretty good though. It was pretty good.
Is it good? I haven't seen it.
I thought it was good.
Is it good? Is it just on regular Disney Plus now? Because eventually they just do that, right?
I think it will be soon.
Okay,
if it's
cool.
not now, it should be soon.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, wait it out.
I
recommend waiting it out.
I'm sure it's a Disney original, so it's probably a good 4 out of 5. I'm sure.
It's a MacGuffin's Quest.
Yeah.
And of course, we love those.
It's a 3 to 4.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cough directly into the mic. That's it for the show. Of course, we'll be back sometime for more movies. We don't even have an outro anymore because we don't know how to do the show anymore.
Shitty ones, I hope.
Probably bad ones.
Shitty movies.
All right. Bye.
Why don't you play us something, baby? Why don't you play us something, baby?
Start? I don't feel so good.